All right, welcome guys to our special meeting that we're going to have. I'm going to go through roll call and then we'll do a Pledge of Allegiance and then we'll get into this. So roll call, Rick Laurel, I'm here. Orfelio Quintanilla.
Not here.
Mónica Salinas.
Not here.
Carlos Fernandez. Jesus Olivares.
Here.
JD Gonzalez.
Present.
Luis Hinojosa. Arturo Dominguez. Emilio Richer.
Here.
Jean Lindgren.
Here.
David Puig. Jorge Cavazos.
Here.
Rodolfo Garza. Jason Hinojosa. Gerardo Maldonado.
Here.
All right. If we can say the Pledge of Allegiance. North is that way. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so this meeting was brought up so that we can come up with more ideas on the plan that we're going to present to City Council. So we were hoping to get more people involved. We have pretty much the same people that were at the meeting last time, but hopefully we have a little bit more ideas, right? So since then, I want to let you guys know, PD has come up with an idea that they think is going to be this, a solution for this. Obviously, we don't have a long-term permanent solution, but we do have a solution to try to deviate traffic so it won't go past International. So, Chief, if you can walk us through this map that we got here, it's pretty much what we talked about at PD.
So, good evening, Chief Villa Rodriguez for the record.
I don't think the mic's on.
Test.
It's not on?
You hear me?
Yeah, no, he turned it on.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Chief Villa Rodriguez for the record, Chairman and members of the committee. So we met last week after much back and forth to see how we can better flow the commercial traffic. And bottom line, the objective is to make sure that we get away from directing the traffic into the residential area beyond International. We came up with a plan where the commercial traffic would come in from 35. As soon as they get down, they would continue going into the flow, directing them into Loop 20, allowing them to, blocking this entrance here of Loop 20, not letting them get in, but for them to continue and going under the overpass and the turnaround into the loop. That was one concept that we had, but then we came up with a better concept into allowing them to continue and getting them into the overpass, allowing them to get off on International, and then going around International and going back up, but also blocking for them to continue staggering up all this road right here in Loop 20, and then for them to continue staggering up all the way past International. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna block this continuance of road and advising them to get off Loop 20, go into 35. Of course, we're gonna have ample units here to direct them onto 35, continue on 35 access road, not allowing them to get on 35. If they wanna get on 35 on the road, on the main road, they can, but they're gonna be allowed to get off, get on the turnaround on Killam, and continue the flow. And they're gonna know, they're gonna be advised that there's just gonna be a continuous flow, and they're not gonna be able to stop at any time. So we're gonna continue moving the traffic, the commercial traffic, around this area, and not allowing them to continue stopping and continue the line all the way to how we've seen it right now, which is all the way to Shiloh, Del Mar, and University. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna continue the flow here and have ample units, which is gonna take about between 10 and 12 units, which is what we're using right now, but not allowing them to continue. So now we're gonna be pushing them on 35 access road and allowing them to continue the flow on those access road on 35 for them to not touch the residential area on Loop 20. So that's the plan that we have right now. Just to let everybody know, we also have the application up and running. We actually did a test today. If some of you already downloaded the application, the test went out today as far as a crash site that we posted. And that's how we're gonna be giving the notifications. We wanna get together through your help, getting together with the import-export companies and making sure that they advise their drivers to download the applications, because that's where we're gonna be giving the advisory that the system is down, expect delays.
Question.
Laredo PD?
Yeah, we got a question
it's
over
an
here.
Android.
Mr. Maldonado.
Yes, sir.
I have a question, Chief. So, basically, you're saying that the endpoint would be checks. So, they're still gonna be able to get on the loop and stand in line, correct? But then or that's not happening at all?
Right here, there's an exit.
Mhm.
We're gonna block for them to continue stacking up here on the line.
So only the trucks already waiting in line up here will stay there?
We'll stay there.
And then after this, there will be no more line?
That's it. We have to get off.
And make us
135,
continue to move
continue move.
and move?
My question is, well, the amount of trucks that, at any given day, that area, that L that you have there outlined, can get pretty full really quickly, and eventually can pretty much lock up.
Yeah, but now the only thing that we have to worry about
Okay.
is for them to get, for the PD officers to give access to this major intersection.
Okay.
As opposed to worrying about these other intersections in
Yeah.
Route 20. So now, yeah, you can have a cluster here because you have a bunch of traffic, but the concentration is right here. So that's what we have to,
Not over here.
not over here,
Yeah, but
which is the objective.
it'll be blocked, but it'll be concentration, but you still have PDs there moving traffic that could go, yeah, so everything will be circulating at the end.
We had a lot of conversations internally, and the number one question has been, okay, when are we gonna be sending everybody to the yards, right? When are we gonna be sending everybody to go back, because the system is not gonna go up anytime soon, right? So that determination is like, okay, we cannot count the trucks itself, we're not gonna put a number to it, like 200 trucks or 300 trucks, or when we send
Yeah, that's impossible.
we're gonna make the sergeant that's in charge of this report, or the lieutenant, the commander that's gonna be on duty that day, to make the determination when it becomes unsafe, right? Once it becomes unsafe, then we start sending everybody to the yard. We can no longer be around, being just stopped at this intersection, waiting for the bridge to open.
Okay.
Jerry,
Oh, sorry.
do you see, I mean, transportation-wise,
It's better than what we have.
It's a Band-Aid.
It's
a Band-Aid.
better than what we have.
no se enoje.
The
So,
reason of all
so Jerry, real quick, the original plan that we had proposed, at the previous meetings was to use that Killam Bridge and start queuing up trucks on the access road coming southbound. And then once that got filled, yes, yeah, and then once that got filled, past, you see where it says the yellow line, the yellow U-turn right there? It's, no, on 35, right there. So once that got filled, for the line to start going all the way to mile marker 13, and then go all the way up to city limits and come back and queue right around Killam Road. So the problem with that is that it starts Unitech traffic with World Trade Bridge traffic up north on mile marker 13.
And manpower.
And manpower that far out.
And I'm sure we evaluated Killam just here on the right lane, parking and parking and parking and parking and parking.
That was the first idea.
That was the first idea, was to
Mines
shoot them
Road,
off to
Killam.
Mines Road and then up to Killam, and then off from Killam east to 35 and then down, you know what I mean?
The only thing I see with the turning.
But we don't want to push all that traffic onto Killam in that industrial park.
I get you, and that wouldn't be fair for
Yeah.
any industrial park. Imagine if everybody just backed in. The only thing, I mean, this is good. This is better than what we have, and I completely agree with that. The only thing is the transfer trucks, the drivers crossing, they're going to be just constantly moving. and it's gonna start affecting, they're probably gonna make a decision, come back to the yard. I don't want you to be going around in circles
That's what we
30
want,
times.
that's what we want
killing
for it
diesel.
to happen. That's what we want to happen.
So that's,
Right.
that's-
There was even a plan of using Peñitas Road all the way up to 255, down to 83, but that's a huge gas expense.
and we only have 2 lanes all the way over there. So
Right,
it's-
so the whole thing about transfers is they're gonna be wasting gas, they're gonna be wasting fuel, they're not gonna wanna be vuelta y vuelta y vuelta, so, I mean, at a certain point, the transportation industry, of the transfer industry, not the transportation
Well, a
industry.
lot of our members actually cross,
Yeah.
because they have the B1 program
have the
driver. So
B1,
the
so-
driver is the over-the-road guy that's waiting to go into Mexico and come back. So
Yeah.
they're gonna, this is gonna impact us all. But this is good, because ultimately, con todo respeto, it's their fault. Oh, they're on time, Mexico.
Yeah,
Well, and remember, so now, let's look at the ones that are coming in, right? So they're coming in, they have ample roads open, right? The same thing on 35. You're coming in on 35, as long as you don't get out on the axis, you can continue and get any road that's gonna take you home. And as well as Loop 20. You can also get Loop 20 and go home on Loop 20. So the road remains open for the public, and this is another objective that we wanted to
No,
capture
I
on
mean,
this
it,
plan.
it works. It works in a way where you're gonna help the community. You know, if you're stuck, if you're trying to get home and you live on, somewhere on Mines Road, you can get stuck here, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
can take.
Hours.
And kill them.
Yes, and kill them.
So
Exactly.
that's the purpose of leaving this open, not sending him all the way over there, because if somebody lives on Mines Road, get 35, get off, go and kill him, and then you're heading.
yeah, so some of us that work out there on Mines Road have already learned not to use the Loop 20 and I-35 interchange. I take Del Mar,
I go through
Mines Road.
Mines Road since the beginning,
Yeah.
myself.
We have a question over here. Congestion?
Yeah, Rafael Guzman with TechStop. For the record, there's still a potential. I think there's maybe a few things that might need to be worked out for this plan. It's a very short distance, so capacity-wise, it's very small compared to the amount of trucks
Yes.
that are going to be affected
Yeah.
at one point, right? So capacity-wise, this is going to get filled really quickly, like you said. If you want to continue the trucks moving all the time, you have to clear lanes all the time. And I can tell you, from on the frontage road, right now we're building that direct connector from east to south, because we do have a lot of traffic, just typical traffic during the afternoon peak, goes from 35, to, close to McPherson. So trucks are gonna get stuck there, right? They're gonna get stuck on the U-turn. And once they start getting stuck or just slowing down, queues are gonna get.
Yeah.
There won't be
built
any
up
U-turn.
really
That was my,
fast.
that was my question because,
You're going right. There won't be any U-turn, because you're gonna go north.
Yeah. Which one are you talking about, Rafael?
no,
Well,
The one
So-
the one right there, where the cluster is.
so typical
Yeah.
traffic, typical traffic goes.
top,
There we go. From here to about here, right? So all this gets filled, all the lanes. There's no lane available to move, right? And they do take some time. So here also, there's, I guess my question is still, I'm trying to kind of figure out in my mind and picture in my mind how you're gonna control the trucks that are going to the bridge, or the ones that
or
that are
moving
going
through
to
the
industrial
city.
parks, because that right turn is heavy. The U-turn, I'm assuming this U-turn, nobody's gonna be there, or at least it's gonna be full of traffic.
No, that U-turn will be the first thing that's gonna have to get shut off.
Yeah, shut
Right,
off.
right.
No, he's talking about
So,
the one
This
on,
turn right here,
Yeah.
This one?
and this gets filled also, all the lanes, quite a bit this way as well. And that's just normal traffic, right? So just normal traffic, this intersection is already full with, long queues. We can't really say we're gonna have traffic flowing, because in reality, we have signals that operate in very long cycles. Trucks move very slowly through an intersection.
So that's why we're gonna go ahead and give the authority to the traffic officers to make sure that they operate those
The lights?
lights, yeah.
So those lights
Because-
will come down to red and then the police officers will designate traffic or?
We can either control them, we can control the lights through the
Yep.
device, or we can make sure that the officers continue to direct traffic. Hey, it's red, we can still send the traffic. That's the authority that they have to just send the traffic if it gets, the congestion is there.
I think if you leave it up to the lights, you're gonna give them the option to do whatever they want instead of you directing traffic. So I mean, obviously it's manpower, but you directing them to telling them where to go, or you giving them a green light and then letting them decide which way they wanna go, it's,
Well,
So
like I
the-
said, that there's two options, right? So the ones that do that really well is the traffic officers, where
Yeah.
they control the lights, right? But you also have what we call the controlling officer, that's the controlling safety officer, that's letting them know, okay, you can't go this way, you have to go that way.
you have to go.
You also have that.
Quick question. When you turn this on, is it right, when all that west of 35 gets filled up?
Mm-hmm.
That's when you're gonna turn the system on?
Yes.
You're gonna, how long are you gonna wait? How long are you gonna wait to back up? To get to that exit, to the one you're talking about?
The first exit of east.
No, on the loop, like, how far in the loop you gonna start with this?
Oh, here. You're talking about Loop 20?
Yeah, like, it's
Yeah,
gonna
how
fill,
far-
all the loops gonna fill up?
They have to get off on International.
No, but when are you gonna turn on the system where you won't let anybody back on? When are you gonna shut off the on-ramp?
Right here, as soon as it gets
Oh,
filled up to
when the
this area.
traffic gets all that,
Yes.
okay. So that, from 35 west, all three roads on that, on the loop will be full?
Yes.
Okay, and that's, you're assuming that's just commercial traffic, because all the cars will be underneath?
Yes.
Okay.
And that way,
How would a truck that's not going to Mexico, that unloaded over here at Milo, and it's going to kill them to get loaded during the day, if it happens between 1 and 5, how are we gonna get those trucks into the other industrial parks if they're going from one industrial park to the other?
well, this is where it becomes a great deal with them, right? Because once they get to this area and they're stuck here, this is where that's gonna get iffy for them, right? Because you're already stuck here.
Okay.
And that's something that they have to make sure that they understand, because this new way of us directing traffic is gonna completely shut it down from you going this way. And if you're stuck here, you're stuck.
Okay, so to understand this, our objective number one is not to flow traffic, get commercial traffic in and out. It's to make sure that they're not blocking anything for the community and for the emergency exits and everything. That's gonna be our number one
Yeah,
objective.
so they won't
Okay,
want them
so
to
now
stop.
you're stuck, if
So they're
something
not,
happens.
so they're not queuing anybody to get in line. They're just keeping traffic flowing, so the traffic will keep on
And then any
flowing.
truck that needs to go somewhere where it's blocked, it's
Yeah.
blocked and.
The
Correct,
queuing is what would cause a truck that's not supposed to be there getting stuck there.
No, it's gonna be
Yeah.
stuck.
Huh?
It's gonna be stuck anyway. But that's fine, but
Yeah.
it's just, we're not gonna have anything wait, you know what, the system is down and it is what it is.
And
It's
again,
stuck.
it's
But we're
only,
just
it's
try
only
to
gonna be
remove it.
this part right here.
Yeah, correct. Nobody's gonna be able to get there if they wanna go to kill it, but that's fine. At the end, the objective, that's what I'm saying. When we get questioned, our main thing, because there's gonna be flaws, and we're like, but look, but what's our main objective is it the community, the emergency vehicles, and getting trucks off where you could still have people coming back to work,
Yeah.
office, school, moving
Yes.
around. That's the number one. Yeah.
Ms.
Yeah.
Limon,
That's basically what it is.
They're gonna question everybody that's in this room, and the next time it happens, and why it didn't work, and what we're thinking, and, so that's,
Bottom line is public safety purpose.
yeah, perfect.
Ms.
I agree.
Limon, I have a question. How often, do they immediately tell you, right, when the system is down? Within a recent amount of time, they'll let you know that the system is down? They communicate with us?
Yes.
Through you?
Our first line is our shift supervisor. They notice that the traffic is at a standstill on the bridge span, so they notify me. Traffic hasn't moved in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So I contact ANAM through WhatsApp and let them know. Staff is telling me traffic hasn't moved in X number of minutes. That's when they say, sometimes they say everything's normal, sometimes they say the system's down, we're working on it. They tell me es central, es local, it varies.
So just to make sure I understand this correctly, they're not very transparent when it comes down to their system is down and they don't immediately tell us, they expect us to react and figure it out and then question them, and then they answer us.
We usually react because
That's
they
awesome.
don't, sometimes they do notify us, but usually they react once I ask.
So,
How hard would it be for us to keep track of this in a way where every time it happens that they notify us or that we ask them and they say that the system is down? You know, they say data is worth 1,000 more times than word of mouth. And if we can keep track of, on today, May 1st, the system went down, and then we can keep tabs of that, I think that would be very valuable for us to argue our case with them and say, hey, this isn't, because every time we bring it up to them, they make it seem like, oh, it doesn't happen all the time. Yes, it does. And I don't think they keep track, or I'm sure they do, but they don't tell us that.
Right.
So maybe on our end, as the city of Laredo, we can keep track of them and say, hey, in the last 30 days, your system went down so many times, and each time it lasted 10 minutes or 17 hours, you know. Whatever the information is, and maybe that helps us to prove our case when we talk to them, because I have conversations with these people, and ultimately they tell me what they tell you. They don't help you. They don't give you any information. It's like we're bothering them, and it shouldn't work like that.
I can keep track.
So you have
Yes.
that.
I can go back and document it. I have the messages through the WhatsApp, so I'll go back and
It would be interesting to know, I mean, maybe since January, if possible, just this year, so we can see how many times it actually happens, because I think it happens at least once a week, but maybe it's less.
On Fridays.
Maybe it's more.
Well, we've had 30-minute downtimes and then the 4 6-hour downtimes. But I think probably the most common ones are the 20, 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Valdez, the mayor has made it a point to make this an agenda item for the next meeting, and I know that he's reached out to his counterpart in Nuevo Laredo, or with the UNAM, or with somebody on the Mexican side. Can you give us a little update on that?
I'm not sure exactly if it's on the agenda for this coming. Jose Valdez Jr. for the record, Assistant City Manager.
This item is on the
I know he wanted to
agenda.
place it. The agenda goes out tonight, this
Yeah.
afternoon.
Yep.
But I'm sure if it is, he's gonna reach out to them for some information. But personally, I seriously doubt they'll give us any information.
Yeah, well,
I mean-
one,
The,
for our side, we could definitely present this as.
But I
as
think that's part of the-
working. Yeah,
wanna
but
say-
what ANAM is gonna do and how they're gonna do it, that's a whole different ballgame, and that's
Right.
how they're gonna
I
fix the
know
system.
that council member,
Valdez?
Vanessa Perez was gonna
Perez?
place something.
Yeah.
And
Well-
I think, I thought I saw something
I
about
talked-
this
I talked-
presentation.
Yeah, I talked to her today, and I'm pretty sure that there's an agenda item for Monday.
Yes.
But my point is that Mr. Maldonado brings up a good point, that us at the local level, neither Ms. Perez nor any other council member have any power or authority to talk to anybody on the opposite side of the river. I mean, it has to get to a point where it's either mayor to mayor, or Mr. Henry Cuellar to somebody deeper into Mexico, because at a certain point, us local here
I
are
don't
the
think,
ones that.
ANAM is not controlled by the mayor of Nuevo Laredo, no?
No.
Or of Colombia or anybody?
No,
Oh, they put
neither.
their own
It's at
pressure,
the
but no,
federal
yeah,
level.
No,
it's-
neither, but the mayor has taken the battle axe and made a press conference last week and is trying to rattle some cages, so,
Well, and that always helps. I'm
Yes,
just saying that I
yes,
think
that's-
it gets
that's
to
my
the
point.
point where if it's a federal level, then you need to get at the federal level on this
right.
side.
It has to start somewhere, and with the mayor, it's a good start that he made a
Yeah.
press conference, and hopefully that'll go up to either Richard Raymond or state rep or, state senator, councilman, or,
I know that
Henry Cuellar.
council, and I guess from management's point of view, we would recommend that they do a resolution saying that they're not in agreement with what's happening.
There you go.
And that we're requesting, and this is, I guess we're gonna have an internal meeting, requesting that our state and federal representatives
right.
talk to the people on the other side at the same level and see if we can get something going, because it really hasn't happened like this.
Because
For
the
a long time.
information that Mr. Maldonado is asking for is really information that should go on that resolution.
Yeah.
That's data, right? It's
And
the
we've
way you
talked a
back
little
up
bit
your.
about this, about documenting everything too.
Yeah,
So-
Mr. Chairman, I would also fully support the request for the data. Even if it needs to come from the city of Laredo versus ANAM, date, time, duration, impact, and some sort of comment. Was it local? Was it national? That would be highly valuable.
And the mayor does have, if I may, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
course.
interrupt, but the mayor does have an item. It's follow-up and updates for the public on recent protocols and discussions between the mayor, Dr. Trevino, and Mexican counterparts with possible action on recommendations and contingency plan presented to reduce hazards from commercial traffic and improve public safety during international bridge outages and any other matters related thereto.
Yeah, that's the point that,
And Councilmember Perez has, let me see, she has her item number 3 is discussion with possible action on the Port of Entry Advisory Committee initiatives and recommendations to improve Port Laredo and any matters incident thereto, which is really what you all are discussing tonight.
right.
And so-
They coincide, right? It has to be.
Oh, yeah, no, they
It has
both
to
work
be,
together.
it has to be the response that we should have as a city to this, and then what's next?
Correct. Oh,
I agree, and I think from our point of view, we're gonna request that they do at least a resolution that shows the position of city council, and then request that the federal level and the state level that if they can intervene and help us out.
So just,
Based on your recommendations, those
Yes.
will be presented also, the
And-
chief's
and Mr.
recommendation.
So
if
I would
you're
like
good with
to
that.
make a motion to recommend that this committee supports Chief Rodriguez's plan as a first phase contingency plan for the steps to
start.
start this, protocol in case any,
I'll
All right,
second that.
We have a motion, we have a second? Second by Mr.
we have a
Olivares.
quorum?
We do have quorum.
again, it's just a recommendation to support Chief Rodriguez with it. They're probably gonna set this up with that line item and on Monday, and they'll have further discussion, but I think it's a great
I
first
think,
step.
based on if it passes, I think it's a good start.
Yes.
And I think, coming from support from you all, I think that'll help also our discussions, and we'll
Right.
probably put this recommendation of the industry and the representatives, into the resolution, and I'll talk to the mayor about maybe creating a resolution. I think that would
Okay.
help also.
And
So
that-
so we have a motion and a second by Mr. Olivares. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. motion
Mr.
passes.
Valdez, I did have a question. I know it's not really the topic of conversation, but since we're talking about Port of Entry Advisory Committee recommendations to City Council, is it also going to include the fines for the insufficient funds on the AVI? Or is that going to be saved for another meeting?
The what, I'm sorry?
Las multas, the fines for the U-turns.
Well, that's not on this agenda,
That's a,
but it's not gonna include that.
I
not right now.
I don't think that should be included, but it should be something
No.
that
No, we're
we
looking at that.
actually requested
Yeah, and
Ms.
we
Limon
had
to
talked a
bring
little
up.
bit about it last time. We are gonna be recommending that to council. I don't know if it'll be on this agenda, but we are moving forward with that. As far as we're,
That's for the
we'll see
increase to
where.
$100 or what?
Well,
I know you
Mr.
all
Valdez
talked about
actually had
$100.
something even
Yeah.
more progressive for the repeat.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's,
okay, it's 'cause I left early, that's why. I
And
didn't-
just to a point of order, it's not on this agenda,
it's
so I
not
don't
on
want
this agenda, but
Okay.
yeah,
to
it's
get
not-
into
it
that,
won't
but we
be,
will be bringing that
it won't be
forward.
part of this next meeting.
this
It won't be
meeting.
part of what I'm gonna be presenting until we present a motion
Yeah.
to send it into, I think we had already done that. So, I mean, the ball is really in Ms. Limon, in your all's court, because we had already put a motion and passed it.
It'll probably be at the next meeting, not
Okay,
this one.
good.
But yeah, we'll look at that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So also something that we have to see is, I mean, if we were to stack up these trucks, they'd be all the way to Austin. This is a really small Band-Aid to the problem that we have. So, I mean, I would also include that the city somehow finds a way to either study it to see what the best option is, or find somebody that could do a study to find a solution for this. Because this is not a solution.
The solution number,
It's an
what we
emergency
talked about was
And the
was
solution of,
stopping the traffic from coming in.
right.
That's the number one.
Right. The solution that we have to have is a bigger contingency plan than what this is. This is just moving traffic from one side to another. It doesn't reduce traffic. It doesn't reduce, I mean, it just moves it from residential to something more industrial. But it really doesn't take care of the thousands of trucks that could really be circulating in that 10 by 10 miles, at that point in time.
But I think the chiefs, the app and all that's gonna help also in conjunction with this as an emergency contingency plan for right now. But we do need to continue looking at it and see if this changes, and if it doesn't change, then we need to look at
I mean,
something better.
I'd like to see if I can amend your solution of this being step one, but adding a step two of something further. We don't have that answer because it's really not in our scope to study it that in depth,
Yeah.
to come up with a long-term solution. So, I mean, I'd just like to add that this
Correct.
should be step one, and step two should be a
Well,
longer
this is your
solution.
continuation of
Yes.
finding ways
Yeah, no, I
on
mean,
how
we're
to.
not
And
stopping.
I'll be there at the meeting and whenever that comes up so that we can talk about it. But that's what I'm gonna be requesting, just in case, is, hey, this is step one of God knows how many more steps that we need to take to find the
best solution.
the best solution, the final solution. And eventually, the solutions are never gonna be the final solution because we're always gonna have to be evolving. Unfortunately, we're reacting to an issue that we don't have a control over. So,
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Chief Rodriguez for the record. What I was told on the initial plan that we were doing, sending the trucks to International, what I was told earlier this week was that was a study that was done, that contingency plan was as a study that was done with TAMIU and TxDOT. I was gonna reach out to TxDOT, see if that was the case, because I believe there were several conversations for the first plan. Again, this happened, years ago, that was the contingency plan. So now, we're changing it to this, but we're gonna have to continue tweaking it.
yeah,
But
that's my
we said-
point.
we said it last week, right? It's just a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Definitely, we need to continue the conversation as to how we're gonna be,
And it
dealing
makes
with the
sense,
bigger issue.
and it makes sense because Loop 20 all the way to International is a 4-lane, two going, two coming, heavy duty, a highway, not an access road.
Correct.
So,
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we also have our IST director, Mr. Rivera, in case, I know we had talked last meeting about the app. If you all are good with the app,
We are ready to go.
then we can thank him for showing up, just in case he needed to talk. But if we're good to go, then I guess we start registering.
so
The folks,
for those that weren't here, and specifically for Mr. Maldonado, that's here for the Laredo Motor Carriers Association, is the app, if you can explain how the app works and at what point in time you release information, but PD has an app, and whenever there's a wreck or whenever there's an issue, they broadcast through that app the issue that's happening. Now, unfortunately, if you don't have the app, you're not gonna get anything. It's not based on a text, it's based on somebody at the trucking or at the transfer level that is a decision maker having that app on their phone and then getting a message saying, hey, the system's down, and then them making the decision or the call to say, hey, everybody come back home, or everybody come back to your yard, or everybody stand still, don't release any more trucks, don't move anymore. So, Chief today just verified that they tested it and it's worked. I don't know if you're looking at your phone because you have it.
I just downloaded
Me too, yeah.
the City of Laredo Police Department app.
Yes,
Okay,
so-
good.
So if you look at the app, it's got a bunch of other items there that people can use either to report. That's the one. So we tested it today, and I saved that for me not to see it so I can show you, but you see a red dot. It pops up as a notification, and kind of like in your face, type of notification, and then you'll go to the notification itself, and it'll give you, for example, crash alert, and it'll tell you the explanation as to where it's at and what to avoid. The same thing is gonna happen when we do the system is down type of setting. System is down at the bridge, please avoid, the bridge. If you're a regular passenger vehicle, expect delays for commercial truck drivers.
Well, where's that at?
Laredo Police Department
No,
app.
I know, I'm there, but.
In the
wh-
message system. So
Top?
once you send it, you have like a small
Oh, okay,
envelope on the top.
I won't have today's messages because.
Because you hadn't downloaded
Yes,
it, yeah.
yes, yes,
So
okay.
we'll send another message. We're sending message already.
And this traffic messages will be as in you have to be subscribed to the crash report or it could be
As
bridge
soon as you
delay?
download the app, It's gonna ask you if you wish to get notifications, right? And
Yeah.
to allow it.
I just did it and I said yes. So on the little envelope, that's when we'll see it.
That's where you see it. And,
Okay.
and when you have your phone off, it'll send you like a notification that something has happened, right? So you'll see
Now,
it.
now I just downloaded. We have to make sure that we allow them to
yes.
send us
I always say no.
notifications. I always say no to all my things because I don't want to get a badge, but
Yeah.
Like, the only channels for notification says Monday minutes. Would you gonna have like a, where we could only filter it so we could receive only traffic information or not?
For now, it's all notifications.
All notifications?
Yeah, but usually the notifications we send is all related to traffic. The only other notification that we'll send through this is any active threat to life. That's
Okay,
it. Those are
and-
the only two,
active threat to what?
to life.
Oh,
Like active shooter? or something?
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I hope I never see that.
So I'll test it with my guys at the guard shack, have them at least, they're the first ones to release trucks or not, see how their phones react and if it's gonna be, 10 messages a day or how they can distinguish if it never rings and then when it needed, they can check. So I'll run some tests this week with them.
So,
Yeah.
Ms. Limon, do you have all the association's contact information? Alpha, Laredo Customs Brokers Association, Laredo Motor Carriers Association, do you have all the associations involved here in Laredo on some sort of a WhatsApp that you could broadcast at that point as well? Because if you say that you get a notification through WhatsApp, I know that us customs brokers have a WhatsApp communication.
I have the committee members' contact information. So if I share it with you,
With
I
those?
have the representative for
Right.
the brokers, for Alpha, Laredo Motor Carriers, LEDC. You all
So I mean, I
have
had
your
mentioned-
business, so if I notify you
Yeah,
all,
yeah.
then I ask that you
So-
relay the message to
So,
your
in the
colleagues.
previous meeting, we spoke about like that being one of the quicker ways.
Yeah.
This might, the app is good, but this is probably quicker because we're in a position of decision-making.
I agree. Yeah.
And not only that, but I mean, Alpha, LUSPA, and Laredo Motor Carriers Association, you forward to your chat,
We
and then
have-
everybody knows what's going on, and hey, like, stop sending, or communication amongst within our own associations.
We can also send an email e-blast to all our ABI customers, making them aware of the situation, so we can do that too. Plus, Mr. Rivera here has some other options that he
Okay.
would like to discuss with you all,
Great.
to give you all more options.
Definitely.
Before we go,
Yes.
Chairman, can I speak up? I know that about 15 years ago, we had the same discussion going by. I was talking to Chewy about it. And one of the things was putting a sign up. And the sign up, like I would go down I-35 when there's a train on there, it lets you know there's a train on there. I know TxDOT, I believe controls that, or I don't know who controls, yeah. And it says Mexican system down, just put that sign up there. Is that an option?
That's TxDOT, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about that at the last meeting, and we talked about it at PD's office, about it being an option, putting up several lights going and coming up from Loop 20, just so that the drivers can be like alerted.
Because they can't access their phone, and the thing about it, I mean, a blinking light, hey, dude, to get off the bridge.
I
basically.
have the traffic safety director on the contact, and I believe they communicate to TxDOT to put messages on the message board, but I can communicate directly with somebody from TxDOT.
That would be great.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Joe Rivera for the record, IST Director. Yeah, so last week, I think it was Friday, I was asked to look into what technology we could use to help out with the situation. I haven't shared notes with Chief Rodriguez, and an app is one way to go. The other thing is obviously SMS, or what we know as texting, where you don't need an app. I've actually tested something today. We actually have something in-house that's already available. What it does is basically, like I said, no need for an app. Anyone that signs up, you do have to subscribe to receive the text messages, but anyone that subscribes to it will get the messages within minutes from the time we send it. We can target it, so we can create groups that allow you to, if it's a traffic-related issue, we could even target it by bridge if necessary. I don't know that that's a need, but we can create groups around this. There are multiple ways we could have you all subscribe to it. One is the system that I'm talking about has an intrinsic web page that you can access, And when you go on there, we'll share the link. When anyone goes on there, whether it be your yard managers, your truckers, whatever the case may be, when these folks go online, all they do is fill out the form, put their phone number in there, say they want to text, and they are now subscribed to the group. And whenever we send out a message, they will receive it. The other way is actually, and you all have probably done this, your banks do this. Even HEB, when you do the pickup, you come up to the curbside and you'll text them that you're there. Well, this is similar. What happens is you'll text to, let's say, we call it Laredo Traffic or something along. You text Laredo Traffic to a certain number, you're subscribed, so you can subscribe to it directly from your phone. So we'll have the two options. You can subscribe online, or you could subscribe straight from your phone. But again, it is a straight text message, just like you would receive from family and friends. So no need for an app.
Okay, that's when that develops?
I'm sorry?
When would that be developed?
Well, like I said, it is part of a software we already have at the city.
You already
So
have it.
we could leverage it pretty quickly.
I think
We just need to
Doing
get,
a bridge group, and just for bridge traffic and bridge notifications, commercial bridge, and then what the idea we had was to give it to the people in charge of the drayage companies and the gate guards, the people that release the trucks out of the yards. Those people should have it, because they're the first ones to release a truck, and they're not probably final decision maker, but they'll be the first ones that can call a manager and say, hey, this is going on, do I release trucks or can I hold them up?
Correct.
Because sometimes in other associations, more busy people have the notifications, but if they're in meetings and whatever, it's 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour go by. So that'd be great if we could start on something like that, and just for notifications, because we also don't want just random text every day, and then you just leave it there. What you want, whenever the texts come in, you want to read it, and it's probably going to happen once every 10, 15 days, every 30 days, whenever it is. But when that text comes
This-
in,
Yeah.
so I
And
think
what
I
I'd
think
like
that
to-
could
what-
work from
yeah,
that
This is
level.
only available SMS, right? There's no.
Yeah,
actually, the system does have the capability to do both SMS and email.
Oh,
So you
perfect.
can do both.
So
So if you subscribe, we could do both.
So the way I see, I mean, then correct me, everybody, the way I see that happening is registration amongst the associations. I keep on focusing on the associations because it's really our backyard. So, association members signing up, 2, 3, 4 emails per company. Like you said, the gatekeepers, the general manager, supervisors, the owner, whatever it is, 4 or 5 emails, 4 or 5 phone numbers per company. But we really have to push to see if we can get our freight forwarders, our customs brokers, everybody that's moving trucks or releasing trucks or has warehouses or is in a warehouse, which I think it's all of us that are in the industry, registered to either jump on the app or receive SMS or email blasts that you guys can do
For the system we have in IT, again, that'll all depend on what you all want to do. We have unlimited subscribers, so it doesn't matter if we have 100 people or 1,000.
1,000,
It doesn't really matter. That you'll decide that who you want to share the link with or the code that we will provide, so you all can subscribe.
You know how much money you'd make if you were to rent that out to elected officials?
If we could create that channel and then just through Ms. Limon, have it send it to us, and then we'll send it out to the associations and to our workers and to our other, other companies that are friends in the business.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I'd like to do, if I may though, because I just found out about PD's app, Chief Rodriguez's app, I'd like to coordinate with Chief so that we kind of come up with a plan on how we're going to use both, so we're not either
So you're not
duplicating effort
duplicating
or
stuff.
stepping on each other's toes.
Right.
Yeah.
¿En Nuevo Laredo qué?
Everybody from Nuevo Laredo.
Well, yeah, it could be an email or a text from Nuevo Laredo. It could be customers in Wisconsin. It could be anybody.
In our case, I mean, we can, if we receive the information from Limon or whoever in the city, like, these are the options, SMS, text, 3 or 4, or however many
Right.
you decide, or the app or whatever. We receive that information, we're gonna spread it all over our membership, which are Nuevo Laredo and Laredo, Texas. So we can do that. as soon as we receive the information.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, members of the committee. My name is Alma Cruz, and I'm the marketing manager for the bridge system. I just wanted to let you know that we already have a system in place. It's a service that it's called Constant Contact. And actually, right now, we have between 13 to 15,000 subscribers. Every time that an AVI account is open, whether commercial, non-commercial, we receive their email, and we have a subscriber list. We're actually right now targeting via campaign. And I don't know if any of you recall, we talked about this about a year ago, trying to minimize the U-turns. And we are still running that campaign. We're sending e-blasts every 2 weeks to make sure that they're replenishing their accounts. And we can use that system to notify them, training how to download the LPD app, and to notify via via e-blast that the system is down, that we need to stay in place, or however you want to call it. But we do have a system that we can utilize. Either where we take time for the IT department to develop their list, or we continue using ours in support for LPD.
Correct. I think one of the things that's gonna be in the back of everybody's head, and the warehouses and the drivers, is if we receive a text to, you know what, stop sending, because, you know, I guess we'll have to mark when is that text gonna be sent. The system is down, that's one thing, because it can last 10, 15 minutes, 20, whatever. But when does LPD or the city say, hey, we gotta stop sending trucks in? How are you gonna, we have to be quick on saying, hey, it's back on, start sending trucks again, because if we start failing on that, people are be like, well, I'm gonna stop my trucks, but they're not gonna send them. And when I send mine gonna be in the back of the line, kind of like that thing. So it's gonna take us a while to get everybody in the yards and in the warehouses to kind of agree to, okay, when you receive a text, do try to stop as much traffic as possible. But it's not gonna happen from one day to the next, because in the back of everybody's head is, well, I wanna beat everybody, because whenever that thing goes on, I wanna make sure. So I think that's gonna help everybody circulating at a short distance. You know, that's another of the objectives of this is, hey, go back. If you come out, you're not just gonna be the next one online. You're gonna be circulating and you're losing fuel. So that's kind of tied together. But it's gonna take a while, but we're gonna try.
Yeah, I think you need to be transparent. The system's up, but
Yes.
the shippers will need to decide: do I want to get in that mess or let it clear out? And if I could take 1 minute, congratulations, Chief. Great proposal. We adopted it. I think it was unanimous. And Mr. ISD Director and Alma Sardana. Public safety is obviously number one, right? And it looks like we have, I hate to call it a Band-Aid, but we have a plan that gets us to that step one. I'm on the front lines with business attraction and promotion, along with my partners in the city and private sector as well. The one thing that we want to avoid, and I think we're being very proactive, is getting a reputation in the city as, yeah, we're the number one port, but the bridges are always down. I'm gonna go too far. I'm gonna go to Eagle Pass. And yeah, their systems go down too just as much as us, but it gets magnified here. And then if we can reduce the congestion, I think that will help avoid a citywide or regional bad reputation that will take years to regain. So,
Correct.
Thank you.
If I may, Gene, I asked you all, as industry leaders, to assist when we make awareness to the community that the system is down, that we clearly identify that it's not the system at the bridge system, that it is the system on the Mexican side. Because right now you mentioned the bridge is down. It is ANAM, and we have to make it clear, and I know I specify and I say ANAM, because yes, it becomes a city problem because our bridge is now located right in the middle of schools, residential, industrial, businesses. So it complicates things. On the Mexican side, they may or may not feel the impact because it could be a roadway that doesn't impact their community, but it does the Laredo community. Yeah. So I asked for your assistance when we put out a message that we clearly identify that it is the system the ANAM system so that we don't give a false reputation that it is the bridge system, and it deters people
I
from
don't-
trying to come to Laredo.
I don't
And
think,
Ms. Limon, you know me, I'm your biggest supporter, right? Our efficient, safe bridge system, public-private partnerships. But that doesn't solve the reputation risk by just throwing a NAM under the bus. They're guilty, right? But because people locate here because we're on the border, right? And so it's not gonna help even if the Mexico system going down,
Right.
impacting Laredo still
But it-
creates that.
Ms. Limon,
But
I
if
don't
I-
think,
if I may,
I don't think anybody's ever said that the Laredo bridge
Right,
system is down,
Right,
so.
but still, and when it fails for long periods of time, it is a central issue. So it is everybody. I speak to my counterparts in Eagle Pass and FAR. I call Luis Bazan. I would call Homero Valderas, but now he's the city manager at Eagle Pass. So, and it's like, okay, how are you all handling this? Are you down? Yes. So it is central. So to say, well, they can choose to go to another port, when the system's down, it's
Yeah.
down at all ports,
Yeah.
No,
so.
but the recovery could be faster in other ports, but.
You know what, but Gene, I gotta sit there and speak up on that, because I know that just being on a national level and having national exposure, there's a lot of comments made, and trust me, Laredo's not, they're being looked at as a model. And I sit there and I promote that, me personally, myself, I promote that with all aspects, and when it is down, they don't look at Laredo, they really look at the ports that have the immigration crisis right now.
I agree. Let's
So
keep
that's
it
the
that way.
challenge, but I mean, the one that, I mean, comments and like Yvette said right now, clarity, clear clarity
Yeah.
on the items that are, the functions going on. That's what we gotta sit there and disseminate to make sure that the exposures sit out there just to defend. And like I said, I got Laredo tattooed, no tattooed literally, but, I really promote that really hard.
And
to
I
make
do
sure that
too.
we hit there.
Yeah.
And I just
So I
came
think-
back from a 3-day conference in Monterey with NASCO, and there were 250 people there from around all 3 countries in North America, and the word Laredo was mentioned very positively 1,000
That's good.
times. And let's just keep it that way.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do here. So it's a little piece of the pie. So if we don't have anything else, any other recommendations, anything else that anybody else wants to add that we should? Yes, go ahead.
It's the second what JD was talking about. If we're gonna ask the federal level to take this seriously, then when JD's up there speaking to them, if they hear that from the community that it's ANAM, and they hear it from the local level, and they hear it up there, I think that clarity from our bridge director, our industry, and
Yeah.
everybody, that maybe will bring the resources for both sides to say, hey, look, it's a deal, because it impacts our local traffic. My only issue with that one project is, if we go all the way to International, that whole subdivision, it's over 1,000 homes. Over 1,000 homes that only have that as an exit. So the communication
Right.
clarity will be very important in all this, and so I think JD's got that big point, just clarifying everything.
No,
Yeah, I agree with what Mr. Valdez said, was that the city has to come up with something to push this up, higher. If this is a spark that does that, then great, and I appreciate that, and we'll keep on pushing for it to go higher and higher and higher until it gets fixed. Now, the reality of this is, I work for Mr. Fernandez, Javier Fernandez, and he was the original writer of the previous software of Mexican Customs. They've been around since 1922, so he knows a little bit about everything that it takes to do a software. Now, what I'm hearing from all around is the Mexican software is completely outdated. So until that country takes care of their customs software, we are gonna have to play goalie and just react. And it's terrible, but it's a reality that we're gonna have to do, because that's at a national level. For them to change their Mexican customs software, you know what it takes. It's gonna take a whole lot more than the Port of Entry Advisory Board or the City of Laredo putting out something. And unfortunately, we're gonna have to just keep on, like I said, coming up with ideas, bettering our city. Our men in blue are doing a great job. Just keep on doing what we do best, and it's adapting to the ebb and flow of international trade. It's the backbone of the city, and it's what we have to do. So I don't know if you want to say something.
Yeah, Yeah, I totally agree with you, Rick. A couple of information, a little bit of information regarding those points. The systems, ANAM has the control over the customs in Mexico, but also the SAT. That's another entity that also controls some of that stuff.
Right.
The systems specifically. So there are a couple of entities, involved in this. Recently, like last week, the head of ANAM got a law passed authorizing him to work freely to acquire things and a lot of things that they authorized him to do. So hopefully, I don't have any information, special information about it, but hopefully that means ANAM would be a little bit more independent and can move a little bit faster with several things, hopefully the system, and I would insist in having our federal representatives push on the federal level to fix this, the sooner the better, right? I think that's the way to go. Obviously, we locally here do our part, but at the end of the day, our federal representatives are the ones that have the power to talk to their counterparts over there.
And just to add, I know that last month I was on a call with DHS, and they didn't have an awareness of this. Their objective more than anything else was just the port congestion. They were not aware of this. So, I know the undersecretary was listening intently to this. I know there's discussion on that. 2 weeks ago, or last week, I was in Fort Lauderdale, and we had a commissioner of customs. We had Karam as well, Representative Rene Vidal, and he presented a letter to Troy Miller inviting him to Mexico City just to see how their operation works, to see how their system, because I know Karam has a big play. They had their software incorporated with ANAM software. So he wants to go take a look at that as well. We're just waiting on confirmation. On top of that, July 22nd, I believe you guys are having your annual conference.
Yes.
And that's gonna be a big exposure as well. We're bringing that up. I'm on a bi-monthly call with DHS, and I'm a weekly call with Customs. So I'm harping on this to make sure that they have this awareness. So there is national awareness. There's no action they can take because it's another country, but they can go out there and have CBP. I mean, CBP can talk to their counterparts to make them do some kind of contingency plan, and that's one of the objectives that we're working on. So.
All right, now I know that this is a special meeting and this is taking up time.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
First, second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you all for coming. Chief, thank you very much. Everybody else that's here, thank you, sir.